Well, day 13 training camp observations are out, and we're going to start and get right to it, man. Not starting off on the best foot. Says there were a few players that left practice due to injury. Cornerback Terrion Arnold, upper body, got tangled up with wide receiver Amon-Ra St. Brown in a one-on-one period. Cornerback Ennis Rakestraw Jr. ankle, and running back Jahmyr Gibbs leg injury also left practice and did not return. Now, we later find out that it was a hamstring. It is a hamstring injury. We do not know the severity of it. I don't want to jump the gun like we did last year with C.J. Gardner-Johnson, but what I do know is that hamstring injuries cannot be rushed. Jameson Williams had one, and he was out 4 to 6 weeks. Hamstring injury. Remember, Justin Jefferson had a hamstring injury last year, and I believe was put on IR for 4 weeks. But even if he wasn't, he was out a long time. So I don't want to go that far, but hopefully Jahmyr Gibbs is okay. And it's sad because Jahmyr was putting in double duty. Tim continues, says, before leaving practice to be evaluated for that leg injury, Gibbs was pulling double duty in individual periods with the running backs and receivers. The Lions want him to be a bigger part of the passing game this year. He needs the reps at receiver. His 8 drops on 71 targets last season were a bit high. For comparison, St. Brown was also credited with 8 drops, but on 164 targets. So St. Brown had twice as many targets and the same amount of drops. So Jahmyr Gibbs drops were a problem, and you guys have been saying it in the comment section that they want to incorporate. You guys keep saying, like, if we don't get a wide receiver 4 or 5, that Jahmyr Gibbs could be that wide receiver 4 or 5. So again, hopefully this injury is not a big deal and it's just a little tender. The good news is Dan Campbell was talking about letting some of the starters decide whether or not they were going to play against Kansas City. He might have to take the reins back and say, no, we're not going to let that happen. But Jahmyr Gibbs, if he doesn't do anything else, has a solid month. We have 27 days until we host the LA Rams. So if it is not a big deal, very minor hamstring tweak, it probably will take that much time or less. So hopefully it's not a big deal, man. I mean, injuries do happen. They're part of the game, but I am like, man, that's why I wanted to embrace the moment last year and not necessarily go all in or sell the farm, but take advantage of what was in front of you because you don't know what is waiting for you in the future, right? So hopefully Jahmyr, Terrion, Ennis are all okay. Terrion, second injury in just as many weeks, avoided being pulled out with a concussion. Thankfully, it's probably that Guardian cap. I didn't see the play, so I'm guessing maybe he landed on something or someone landed on him, or maybe it's something like that. Hopefully, it's not a big deal for any of these guys because that is going to be devastating if it is. But again, let me relax and not make a big deal out of this. We'll see what happens when we come out of camp tomorrow. But the Lions were put in when we get the news tomorrow, Lions were put in a situational drill. Here's what Tim had to say. The team ended practice with the offense starting a drive at their own 44-yard line with 1 minute and 30 seconds on the clock and trailing 24-21 with 3 timeouts. Quarterback Jared Goff did a great job working the offense down the field with completions to St. Brown. He had 3, and Wright had a nice 9-yard Reynolds run mixed in there. St. Brown's third catch got the offense down to the 5-yard line with 19 seconds left and the use of their last timeout. An incompletion to wide receiver Jameson Williams on the first down was followed by a drop by wide receiver Darius Fountain that would have been a touchdown with 11 seconds left. On third down after the drop, defensive lineman, Aiden Hutchinson, was credited with a sack, and the offense had no timeouts left to stop the clock, so the defense won the drill. So we had a drop by J-Mo, a drop by Fountain. Not a good look as we end day 13 of practice. Not freaking out about any of that stuff. My main concern is on those 3 fellas injured, because 2 of those guys are secondary players that we've overhauled. And again, I'm pumping the brakes, but I'm just like, man, we've been getting smacked this year. From Michael Badgley, getting hurt and not even having a chance to compete. I mean, completely torn hamstring, ripped hamstring. It all started there, man. And then it's just like, it just won't. Somebody turn off injuries. Can we go into like Madden and turn off injuries? Because we haven't even started yet. And key guys that's going to be big parts of what we're trying to do this year are getting banged up. So hopefully it's nothing major. Tomorrow there is no practice. I assume we'll get an update. Not sure if Dan Campbell gets in front of the media tomorrow with no practice. Maybe he'll do like a wrap up. The fellas are back on Wednesday for the last practice in Allen Park. I will be in attendance in that at that practice. So hopefully I'll be able to see those guys out there, at least Ennis and Terrion. Jameer, hamstrings, man. I don't know if you ever hamstrings are something else. They are something else. And they're something you have to be very careful with because they will sideline you for a long time. So hopefully it's not a big deal, maybe a tweak, but we probably won't see him anymore this week. We definitely won't see him in that Kansas City game. And I would assume that I'm not sure we'll see any starters. If Dan Campbell will still leave it up to the starters, whoever those individuals were, I don't know if he was going to let Jared Goff get in there. And because Jared Goff was saying the other day he is itching to get back out there. So he still has another month before he even sees the football field, right? So not sure, but we're all going to calm down. No need to hit the panic button yet. Let's wait and see what comes out. But isn't it ironic how most Lions fans they knew what we had. I knew what we had with Jahmyr Gibbs. While the rest of the world was freaking out, we overdrafted, we did all this stuff. I'm like, this kid is going to be a star. What I did not expect to that degree was Sam Laporta. So I guess really, man, only thing Brad can really do now to cheer me up is trade for Matthew Judon. Let me wake up to a Judon trade. You know, Brad, if you listening to this, bro, Brad, trade for Judon overnight. Let it be the first thing that us Lions fans wake up to in the morning. With this bad news, man, we could use some good news. At least the defense won the situational drill today. So hopefully Brad is listening and watching this video, and he wants to make the fan base happy. He know we're pretty sad right now. We've been going through it. Injuries galore. And we're just 1/3 in of the preseason games. There are more to come. There are more injuries to come. So anyway, Brad, hope you're listening. This is the last video for the day. Put in that mad work today, man. A lot of news to talk about, and that's what I am here for, to give you your Detroit Lions coverage like nobody else. You guys are awesome. This channel is made possible by viewers, subscribers, and members just like you. Take care of yourself and each other, and as always, go Lions. Now, with overtime done, I think I'm on time and a half right now, so I better go punch out.